What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of the MAGA podcast. I am your co-host, JDubb JDubb for the Hooked on Phonics crowd. And I am joined by my homeboy, Mr.
NVP Payton.
NV Payton, aka Mr. Paid in Full. And
Yes,
how are you
I
doing
like it.
today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. It's the sun is shining, but it's windy on my side. Um,
Ja Windy. Okay. Is
ja,
that
yeah.
that's that
Don't ask me
DMV?
how to spell it. Definitely DMV lingo. Oh, what you say earlier? Phonics? What you say?
See, and that's not it. That's no this to illiteracy is a serious problem in America. Adult illiteracy is a serious
Mm-hmm.
problem. But yes, hooked on phonics was a thing back in the day that would help
Yeah.
people who had issues learning to read and write. Develop those skills.
Having issues learning DMV slang,
That would be hooked
maybe.
on ebonics.
Ah, there we go. That's it. Ebonics. There we go. Yeah, I like that.
I'm looking at the camera. I'm a little short down here. I'm wondering if you give me just a quick, brief second to do a adjustment. All right, I guess that didn't do much, but
I don't know what that did, but
it
okay.
didn't
You
do
looking great. You
nothing.
looking good, man.
But you know what? It be what it be. You still get this glorious glam right here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, get your smile on.
But yeah, I wanted to rap to you about one of our previous episodes that we did.
Hmm.
By the way, I don't know if the people have checked it out, but we got two of our Combat Convo episodes up where we're gaming in Call of Duty, and man,
Hmm.
we get it in. So I suggest everybody, go to our page. This MAGA podcast. All you got to do is go to MAGA podcast. If you're watching this right now, you're probably seeing
Hmm.
it on the MAGA podcast screen, and check out those two videos. They real brief, but they got a lot of action, a lot of fun. But yeah, before we did those videos, we did a video with Jeezy versus Gucci Man, and I thought we did an amazing job with
Gucci
the wrap
lost.
up on that.
Spoiler alert. Gucci lost. Pretty much.
Yes, unfortunately, Gucci, yeah, Gucci, Gucci lost that one, but he took the L like a man. He did take the L
Okay.
like a man, and at the end of that was a premiere of
Hmm.
Jeezy's new music, which is ironic since Gucci throughout the entire battle was like, man, drop some new stuff. Get us out of 2005, get us out of 2007. And at the end of the battle, he has
Sounded
some new
like a
stuff.
hater.
It was some hateration, but he has some new
Hateration.
stuff that was fire. It was Power of the Dollar, excuse me, Power of the Black Dollar featuring Rick Ross,
Boss.
the
Oh,
boss. Yes,
oh.
sir. And I really dug this video for several reasons. First, I like the aspect of them copying the American Gangster theme of when
Hmm.
Denzel is playing Frank White. Is it Frank White or Frank
Okay.
Lucas? I
I
think
thought it
it's
was
Frank.
Frank White. Frank Luke. Oh,
Maybe
Frank.
yeah.
No, Frank Lucas. Hold up.
It is okay.
Frank Lucas. Frank
Yeah. It was
Lucas.
Frank Lucas who sold that heroin, that
Yeah.
China White.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Frank
he called
Lucas.
it Blue
Yeah.
Magic. But yeah, the
Hmm.
video was set up all around that scene where um Frank Lucas, Denzel's character, is in a
Hmm.
bomb ass chinchilla fur coat and hat at a this really world premiere fight, and he's got better seats than the mob, and it's basically showing the power and the reason why Frank Lucas is able to do that in the movie and in real life, because it's based off a real life story, is based
Hmm.
off the power of the black dollar. And I believe that that's going to pretty much be our theme for this discussion is the power of the black dollar, because one of at least one of my favorite, I believe he's maybe one of your favorite comedians, Dave Chappelle, is
Hmm.
actually has something to say about the power of the black dollar and how his influence, his his power basically was able to get his show pulled off of Netflix. And um
Yeah,
MVP,
but
would you like to go in more on that?
before we get into that, I just wanted to mention because of all that Gucci hate that I was hearing earlier from Gucci, I like the fact that the lyrics of that song that Jeezy dropped right after the battle was all this Fendi and Gucci is goofy.
You know what? I did catch that line, but I did not relate it to Gucci. Good catch,
I
man. You know
He's
what?
talking about the
I heard
brands,
it. Yeah.
right? But since Gucci want to talk about, why you keep going to 2005, why can't you play? I like the fact that he start like he's way ahead of you, Gucci. like you dropping all these diss songs. He dissed you, even though you probably didn't mean it to him. But I'm gonna say it was directed to Gucci, and he called you goofy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's the Jeezy definitely has better subliminals than Gucci. Gucci was very direct in his
right.
insults. But yeah, even in the battle, he was displaying the power of the black dollar by saying, let's do a real estate battle. Forget the clothing. Because yeah, you got 10 G's on you on
Mm-hmm.
your clothing, but you can't pass that jacket down to your sons. You can't pass that down to your grandchildren. This real estate I own in Atlanta, I could pass down. And once again, that brings us back to Dave Chappelle and his legacy. He was actually robbed of his legacy with the show,
Mm-hmm.
the Dave Chappelle show, and
Okay, I
it's
go on
something he
board.
doesn't own anymore.
Yeah, so he came out with a stand up and basically explained everything. Y'all should watch it. It's more serious than comedic, but
Mm,
it's
he's-
Dave Chappelle, so he's a great storyteller. So that, like he gets into the stories about like how when he was younger, um, I want to say he was like 14 to 15 or whatever, and he had did a joke, and one of the comedians that was there, that was an older guy, was like, "Yo, that joke's funny. It's cool if I borrow it." And Dave Chappelle was like, as a young dude, he was like, "Well, sure. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I don't have fun." So then later on, Chappelle and the guy were at the same show, and the guy went on before Chappelle and told his joke. And so after all that, Dave Chappelle was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna need you to give me my joke back." And and the dude was like, "Well, oh, I meant to ask you. Let me give you $50 for it." And Chappelle was like, "Well, nah, because I need all the content I had. I need all the content that I've
and the
created."
audacity of $50. $50, yo, I'm assuming that you get $50 just for performing at a CD club. So you want to buy my joke that you're going to be recycling over and over at all these clubs, making $50
Mm-hmm.
each and every time you go to the club. You just want to pay me $50 one time. I mean, come on, at least give them 3 digits. At least give them 100. $50, like the audacity. But please,
Yeah.
because and there was one other thing that you said. He
What?
said borrow a joke. As soon as you said that, in my mind, I was thinking of the Boondocks episode where the
Mhm.
teacher says the N word. He's like, how is a nigga going to borrow a fry? Like, because Huey asked, can I borrow a fry? And he was like, I wasn't thinking, oh my God, I said the word nigga. I was just thinking, how's a nigga going to borrow a fry? How you going to borrow a joke? Like, once it comes out of your mouth,
I mean, you kind of like you making it seem like it's your joke, right?
yeah, like I was gonna say,
Like,
once it comes out of your mouth, nigga, it's yours. You said
right?
it. You
You're not gonna
can't borrow it.
you're not gonna be like, oh, and that joke was by Dave Chappelle, but I'm saying it. No,
5 minutes.
so he said the dude stood up over him when he was like, when Dave Chappelle was like, nah, I ain't selling for 50 because I need all the content I can create. I need that because it gives me a better chance of being known. And he was like, well, he got up and he was like, oh, really? Well, I can just take it.
Mm.
And Dave Chappelle was like, yo, that was the first time when his eyes were open to the fact that people will do you wrong in this industry, right? So then he went into another story which was funny about this game or whatever, and the point of the game is to guess the card, the red card, right? Three
Three
cards,
card
something like
money.
that.
Three
Yeah,
card
there you go.
money. Yeah, I'm very familiar with
So
the game. It's always a
thorough.
cheat.
Right. So and that's the thing. So he was like, he saw the card that the people were picking. I mean, that was supposed to be the card was kind of a little bit bent, and he was like,
Hmm.
"This dude ain't realized there's a little bit bent." So he's like, "Oh, let me go in and play him and get some money," because obviously he doesn't realize this little card is bent a little bit, and I can pick it easy. So he playing the card. He lost, right? Long story short, he lost all his money, right? And he sat there and watched them some more, and he was like, all the people that were like making it like a big scene. He was like, "Yo, this is great." Da 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 da. They were all his friends, all the dude's
all the
friends. So he's like,
all the
all
dealer's
the
friends.
all the dealer friends. So then he was like, someone random person just like Dave Chappelle walked up and was about to play him, and Dave Chappelle was like, "No, don't play. He's cheating. Like these are all
Trying
his
to look
friends."
out. Yeah,
And so he
trying to
said
look out.
he said the dealer grabbed him up and was about to completely destroy him. And this
Mm.
is young Chappelle. This is like 15 years, right? 15 years old, right? So he's about to destroy Chappelle. And then he was like, the only reason I think he didn't destroy me is because he saw the fear in my eyes. And he was a grown ass man. And Chappelle was like a kid, right? So he's like, yo, don't come in between a man and his money and his livelihood, right?
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward that into what Dave Chappelle was talking about. He's like, yo, Comedy Central didn't pay him. So and he was like, it was interesting because he went to HBO Max. Well, HBO probably was HBO at that time, but was like, "Hey, I have this show, the Dave Chappelle show." Pitched it to him, and they said to him, "Why do we need you?" Right?
They are HBO.
But then fast forward, now HBO was streaming my shit though.
Because they
You
are
know what I mean?
HBO.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that works for both. They are HBO. Shit, they're a greedy ass company, so they want to do what makes them the dollar. But they are HBO because they had the power to say, "What do we need you for? We got. Do you see what we have? We are HBO.
right.
We got this. We got that. Shit."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I get it. That's some disrespectful shit to say
So,
to a nigga though. To why
and
we
that's what
need you.
and that's what Dave Chappelle was saying. He was like, "Yo, it's crazy that you would say that when you could have just said nah." You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we're not interested.
Exactly. A simple no would do. Like,
A
you ain't
simple
gotta.
no would do. So,
Mhm.
so that happened, and then the fast forward, he's like, he hits up Netflix, and he's like, "Hey, I feel some type of way about this because I'm not. This is they didn't pay me for this content, and now Netflix is streaming it, HBO is streaming it, so." Netflix decided to take it down. And he was like, I know I signed the contract, um, but does it still make it right? And that's
Mm.
the question that I want to pose to the world, to the listeners, to the followers. Like, if you sign a contract, even if you're at a like whatever age you at, but he was saying, he even said, he was like, yo, he signed it because he didn't really have any other options. And everybody at the table, like, in the contract room,
Mm-hmm.
the company, Comedy Central, everybody at the table was like, "Yo, this is a good deal." And he was like, he brought it back to the card game, and he was like, "How do I know that all these people are not your friends?" And they're saying this is a good deal because they're friends with you, but it's really not. Um, but my question is, if you signed the contract, I mean, it's a contract. You signed it.
Yeah, and you have to be an adult to sign a contract, and so you can't say I was just a kid because
Mm-hmm.
there. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you have to be a certain age for your signature to be legally binding. Like, that's why a child can't rent an apartment at the age of 16. He needs a parent or somebody to co-sign, or she needs somebody to co-sign, because you're not going to. No one's going to rent a apartment, to sell a car, or get into a contract with a child, a 16-year-old. But once you turn
Mm-hmm.
18, I guess, is that's when you can sign your name on the dotted line of draft papers, or to sign up for the military. I guess that's when your signature and your name actually means something that's binding. So legally, you can't say you're a child when you sign a contract. You can't
Well,
say,
and he was
"Oh, I was
28,
young."
right? He
28.
was 28. Yeah, I think he was 28 when he
Oh,
signed it.
yeah. See, and that's another thing, because I'm thinking. I know you posed this question to the world, but since I'm here, I'm gonna go
Right.
ahead and rap on it.
Since you're
I'm
here, okay.
I'm thinking of honestly, The Last Dance, with the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls documentary that came out, and a similar
Mhm.
situation with Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen signed a horrible deal, horrible
Mm.
contract, and he was signed to a 7-year deal where he was getting like the least paid in the league or something like that. And by this time, he was a 2-time champion, but he had two disabled people in his house. His father and I think his his brother or his uncle were both disabled, paralyzed from the neck down or something like that. That he was taking care of in a household of 9 people in
Woo.
Poor Place, Arkansas. So
Wow.
he had some serious situations for why he needed money. But on the other hand, you have to know your value too. Like it's
Mhm.
a dual argument.
Right.
I sympathize with Pip and I sympathize with Chappelle in his
With
situation.
Chappelle, right.
He was a child, but on the other thing, like yeah, you probably didn't know Chappelle's show was going to be as big as it was, or yeah, you didn't know the Bulls would become a 6-time dynasty because of your play.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta know that hey, that if they're willing to pay me this much, then that means they're going to be making this much. And we need to get those numbers. They're never going to be here. They're never going to be here. But we got to
Mm-hmm.
get those numbers from up here to at least right here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he was in a tough spot. I get it, but he can't cry and complain now because when he signed that his name on the dotted line, a lot of the problems and situations that was circling him
Mm-hmm.
immediately disappeared because of him signing. So he made the right decision then. It was just a
Right.
bad choice for now.
For
So
now, and also my thing is, it's one thing to sign a contract
mhm.
and finish the contract, but he didn't finish the contract. He left. He quit.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like,
So
not only did you sign the contract, but you didn't even finish the contract. You left. So if I'm someone who's coming in your defense, like as a I don't know, a lawyer or agent or something like that, it would be difficult for me to get you your money
yeah, I think he
based on that information.
yeah, from the clips I seen, because I haven't watched the thing, but I have heard discussion, like water cooler discussion. He talked to his agent. His agent was like, "Yeah, I can't, like what you just said. I can't do nothing for you. You walked out the contract. So,
Like, you know what
I
I'm saying?
mean,
Like, mhm.
actions have consequences." And so his request for them to pull it off, they pulled it off of Netflix, correct?
Yeah, yeah, they pulled
Chappelle
that down.
show.
Yeah.
So they
Hmm.
his request to do that, that's like an honorable thing on Netflix's part, but it's not something that they had to do. But
Exactly. Exactly.
also, I don't think any corporation is a citizen. So I know that that was a thing back in the politics, like back a while when Mitt Romney was talking about corporations are
Hmm.
citizens or something like that. No,
Hmm.
corporations are not citizens. Corporations are like a group, a board, people with stock investments in it. They are looking at ones and zeros. They're looking at numbers and they're looking at data. Netflix saw the data and said, "Hey, if we make Dave Chappelle even happier, like they've already did the YouTube thing for free for him, the 842 when he spoke on George Floyd, like that
Hmm.
was produced by Netflix and they put that on YouTube. YouTube is not subscription, like YouTube is free. So that was free
Right.
content Netflix did for him. So Netflix is like, yo, we got all the when we announced those 5 specials, stand-up specials that Dave Chappelle did, we got so many
Hmm.
viewers. We got that was number one in top viewership for weeks every time, each one of those specials. Let's make this
Hmm.
man happy because he is still a genius. He is still a comedic genius, and people listen to him when he speaks. When he goes on Saturday Night Live, people tune in to Saturday Night Live. I don't watch Saturday Night Live except for that episode with Meg Thee Stallion. But
Of course, you watched that episode.
I think that even that episode that was a Dave Chappelle episode. I'm not sure. I think it was. I know Jim Carrey. No, it was Jim Carrey episode. My bad. But either way, yeah, Netflix made
Hmm.
that decision not just out the kindness of their heart, which it was a kind gesture,
Right.
but it was for the money. It was definitely for the long term
Yeah, and
thing.
they had a meeting about that and was like, yeah, what's the pros and cons if we like look out for our guy? Because at this point, he's their guy.
Yeah.
Uh, so they made the right decision. But basically what Chappelle wants, and then, so there's 2 points that I'm conflicted about, and we spent a lot of time on this, but there's 2 points. One, you didn't finish the contract, so it's hard for me to be like, um, damn, they're so wrong. Two, damn it, I want to watch the show. I haven't watched all the shows, so I'm like, but what he wants you to do is he wants you to boycott the show because he didn't get paid, so he doesn't want you to watch it.
I haven't watched another episode since he said that.
Right,
Before
I
he
haven't
said
either.
that, I did watch that first episode just to see how funny it was. I
Mhm.
honestly own all of Chappelle on DVD. I can't recall if I paid for those DVDs or not though, or whatnot. It was a time.
Especially if you got it back then in that day.
Yes,
I pay for nothing.
I'm pretty. Hey, Dave, I didn't pay Comedy Central for those DVDs. I know that much. I know that much. If I did pay for them, it was from somebody else, but it wasn't. The Comedy Central did not make it any more money from me off of you. So,
Right.
but yeah, I can literally watch those whenever I want. But the convenience factor of just because I paid for HBO Max, I should be allowed to
Hmm.
watch whatever it is on HBO Max. So the convenience factor may get me.
Yeah.
I don't know when or if they ever going to make things right with Dave Chappelle, but I cannot
Right.
keep this boycott up in
And
perpetuity.
and
I
and
can't.
my thing is, and this might sound wrong, but I feel like that's a personal thing. Like
Yeah. I mean, I
you,
get that he's appealing to the people to get
yeah,
some power because it's
because
as you
that's the
said.
nobody
Go
else
ahead.
can do anything. So he's like, well, I'll talk to the people because they're the real boss.
Yeah,
And
because
I'm like, if I'm the real boss, as a people, I'm like, I get to enjoy your show now. Like I haven't watched all your show. I probably watched the Rick James part, maybe a couple of the crackhead joints, but I can finally be on the
have you
same
seen the
level with my
Prince
friends.
ones? Because you didn't mention
I
Prince.
seen like bits and parts of them. That's what I'm saying. I
Oh,
haven't
you
seen the
have to
whole
see
thing.
Prince play
I
basketball.
can't. Dave Chappelle doesn't want me to, and that's what I'm like, yo, I can't even like have these conversations with my homies because I'm boycotting a contract
That
that
you
you
didn't
didn't even
sign.
finish. That you signed that you didn't even finish. And I'm like, I understand though what you're saying. I understand, like, yo, they didn't pay you all your money, but it's like, even if you're at a job and they're not paying you all your money, you can't just, I mean, you can't quit the job. You can't quit the job,
It's
or
always an option. He could have never signed a
yeah,
contract.
but
But he
that's
still
not a
would have been in the same
contract though.
situation. He would have still been in the same situation. You can quit your job, but you lose all your money
Mhm.
from that
Well,
job.
how about this? How about this? They give people signing bonuses, and basically it's like, yo, if you stay here for 2 years, we'll give you an extra like $5,000, $10,000, right? And you take that money, and then you leave 1 year into your contract because they're not paying you enough far as like on your regular salary, but they did give you a signing bonus.
Hmm.
You can't just quit and expect to keep that signing bonus. If even if you spent it, you have to give us our 10 G's back. You didn't complete the contract.
Yeah. Hey, I completely agree
Mm,
with you. I
I
think
don't know.
we're on the same page with this.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
tough,
would like
man.
to go further into it because there's so many levels on that. It's so much to be said. But as of this moment, MAGA podcast, I guess it's an
Mm,
agreement. JDubb and NVP are in agreement that we will
mm.
not watch the Chappelle Show on HBO
Yeah,
Max for the time being. But that
yeah,
is not an indefinite thing, and we're not going to
yeah.
just wait until they make things right with you. We're going to work on our own time schedule. We're going to be respectful with it. But I did want to touch on something else with in regards to Dave Chappelle. Netflix is actually being very, very smart in their approach
Hmm.
to the power of the black dollar, if we want to bring it all the way back. Because if you have or haven't noticed, over the past 3 to 5 years, there's been a kind of a turn in Hollywood to focus more on gaining that black dollar through targeting movies and entertainment towards black issues. I was thinking of the movie Queen of Slim from 2017. Basically a Hollywood movie, dark skinned African American, not
The
the
light
typical, but
mixed
yeah, the Vanessa Williams and the Haley Berrys. I
curly
love
hair.
Haley Berrys, but these
Hmm.
were full nose, full lips, the Afrocentric features that you see in your everyday black people, and it was
Hmm.
surprising to see that. And the movie was about you know technically cop killing, but not for like nefarious reasons. It was a case of racial profiling and
Okay.
trigger happy cop. And then you have movies like Black Panther, major blockbuster movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the villain, the anti-hero, Killmonger, his issue is with the racial injustice that our people has faced. And also the fact that Africa kind of left us to deal with this on our own. And these are issues that touch Black Americans, but
Mm-hmm.
also touch the bank accounts of these companies. Disney made tons of money off of Black Panther. HBO Max is streaming Queen and Slim. HBO
Wasn't that like
Max
one of the
is,
highest grossed movies? Like
yeah, I
the
think they
Black
hit into
Panther?
the billions. Yeah, the
Yeah, that
Black
joint.
Panther went billion, was $1 billion baby worldwide. And
It was
as I
like,
was
oh,
saying,
black people spend money when you talk to them, when you're
they
talking to
known
them.
that we spend the money, but they've never been talking to us, and that's the thing. We've been spending money on this
Mm-hmm.
shit, like Jeezy said. We buying the Gucci and what was the line? It's
Fenty,
Goofy, it's Gucci and Fenty.
Fenty, Fenty,
Those
Fenty,
ain't black
Goofy,
people.
Goofy.
Yeah, those
Mm-hmm.
ain't black people, but they making that black dollar because we
Yeah.
buying it. Yeah,
And we be the types, and this might go a little bit dark, but we'll be the types to kill over it too. Like,
unfortunately.
yo, you killing over this white person's brand. I mean, you shouldn't be killing over a black person's brand either, but still, you should be killing
Yeah,
at all.
stop
But
the
still,
violence. Stop the
stop the
violence.
violence.
MAGA,
Yes,
MAGA
I feel like we
podcast.
said that. I feel like we said that on multiple podcasts now. Stop the violence.
We are definitely
Yeah,
advocates for nonviolence, even though
yeah, man,
we ain't
chill.
we ain't Martins. We definitely Malcolms, but we still don't want the violence to be happening. But
Right,
yeah,
right.
so it's definitely been a trend. It's definitely been a lot of money being
So
made.
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a
Yes, go
question.
ahead.
So, do you think Netflix specifically? I'm talking about Netflix because, well, let me ask the question first. Do you think it's because of the Black Lives Matter movement coming back to the forefront? Because before that happened, how many black people shows did they have on Netflix?
That's an excellent question, and Netflix is smart. So what they
Mm,
did, and you're right, it definitely has to do with Black Lives Matter being in the forefront of like all of American television or worldwide television, because the Black Lives Matter movement has crossed the nations, across the sea.
yeah,
It's in
across the
Europe, it's in
seas,
Africa, it's everywhere. So,
everywhere.
um,
Yeah.
but Netflix has been targeting minorities for quite some time. They've always had their
Okay.
white shows. They've always had their House of Cards, the Orange is the New Black. I got on there for West Wing, which is a political drama. I don't see too many. I think there's only one black person in that entire cast. It's still one of my favorite shows because it's well written. But
Mm-hmm.
Netflix will have their white shows, but they also would have their black shows. They would do stuff like On My Block, or
Okay.
the Get Down, which was like a musical origin
Oh,
of
they
hip
did
hop.
have the get down.
Yeah,
I
and
did like that.
that
I
was
like
more
that.
targeted to brown and black though. It seems like now though, if you compare
Mm-hmm.
when the Get Down, because Get Down was maybe 3-4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
then to
Yeah.
now it's less brown and black. It's more, we're going to focus definitely on black because
Mm-hmm.
it was like the trial of Chicago 7. There was the the uh the Central Park 5. Like these are
Mm-hmm.
documentaries that were targeting about racial strife in America, when those black men
Mm-hmm.
were on trial for killing the being accused of killing the white woman, and they were completely innocent. Like Netflix was brave enough to air that documentary, and now they just got licenses to a ton
Look,
of black sitcoms.
they have. I'm on Netflix right now. They have
Actually, so am I.
where you can search and stuff, right, for the categories you want. They
Hmm.
now have a category called Black Stories. And look, and just to give you an idea of what you see when you hit this category, you got
Hmm.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. You got Kevin Hart, Zero Fucks Given. You got Luke Cage. You know that one. So and this is like you said, it's Black Stories, but you're getting all Django,
Hmm.
101. That's what I was looking for. So even it has her. It has look at all the shows they brought. The Game, The
Mm.
Parkers, Marlon, Sister Sister,
Hold
freaking
on, hold on.
Barbershop.
I find it ironic. The
Mm-hmm.
Parkers, because we were talking about Dave Chappelle and him saying, "Don't boycott any network, boycott me." Whereas the Parkers has what Monique, and Monique definitely called for a boycott against
Of
Netflix
Netflix.
quite some time ago. And hey, I wasn't with it. At least with Dave Chappelle, I'm giving him some time. I was not with Monique's boycott, even though it sounds like she was making a very similar argument that Dave
Yes.
Chappelle is making.
Yep.
So that is
But
something that we can revisit later on. But I just wanted to point that out, that is definitely something that brings a light bulb above my head when I hear about it.
yeah, and it's interesting because at what Netflix did for Dave Chappelle, I would think that we can't boycott Netflix now because they actually did right by a fellow African American, a
You know
black
what?
person.
I didn't even
So I'm
consider
like,
that point.
so do we listen to Monique? Do we listen to Dave Chappelle? Like that's what I'm saying. It's so conflicting, man.
And they got Monique. Like they got her. They got the Parker. So I don't know if Monique is getting paid
I
for
don't know.
its syndication for those episodes or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But Netflix has got Monique on their network. They got her in the Parkers. They
What
got
and that was the thing. They were gonna pay her. She just didn't like the amount that they were gonna pay her.
mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But yeah, the black stories, man, like there's an actual genre for it for now in Netflix. I don't know where else you could find that. Like I don't think Amazon has a black story section.
Well,
I don't
obviously during Black History Month, they all do. They all like
right.
Hulu, Amazon. They all do that for Black History Month. But
But that's what I'm saying. Like this is not it's not Black History Month right now. It's
exactly.
right here. I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
So
Netflix is trying to make the money off of because
the black
Black
dollar.
people have shown that our
Mhm.
dollar and our spending power can now be directed. Because for years, from the '80s
Oh,
to now, it has just
cause,
been going to state pocket. Now we directing it. But it
'cause
seems like you want to say something.
that's literally what happened when they boycotted the riding the bus and the Rosa Park thing and all that shit. The only reason why they were like, "Oh, we got to do something," because they wasn't getting any of our money, dog. We
Mm-hmm.
ride the buses. We
Mm-hmm.
spending that money, and oh my god, man, when them white people saw that, they was like, "Damn, we are losing so like." They lost that much money where they had to change a whole law.
And that's the damn shame about things. They changed a law, not because the law was wrong, not because it was the right thing to do.
Mhm.
Everything is being moved by money.
Mm.
Message.
I like it. We can actually, with that message being said, I wanted to transition into something else.
Okay.
Um, I'm pausing for a reason. All right.
Understood.
So speaking of black people, watch how I tie this in. I am tired of America having my guy LaForge all the way fucked up. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about Star Trek. Okay.
The next
Now,
generation.
next generation, because there's so many, right?
Thank
Now,
you.
I want to ask you, JDubb, what exactly are the streets saying about LaForge?
Well, you will hear this in a future episode, but I spoiled it for you already.
Mm-hmm.
LaForge don't get bitches. That's just, it is what it is. Like, they don't say it in those terms,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
there is a line dropped off by a character who is funny. You're very familiar with this character and his
Mm-hmm.
wisecracks. So with
It's
that's the
got to be
last.
Crusher.
That was the last hit I was going to give you. But yeah, you
Crusher,
already
Crusher,
figured it
stay
out.
going on people. Crusher, stay going on people.
Crusher
Yeah,
says it in some episode. I don't know when it
I
happens.
already know what you're talking about. He was like, because there was something that was going on and the shit was making everybody angry, like
So you
overly
already seen
angry.
it.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Crusher was like, Crusher had a date, and LaForge was like, "Why you in such a hurry? You ain't got no chance with her." And he was like, "I'm gonna take advice from a dude who gets his chicks from the hollow deck." I was like,
I
"Oh."
am so happy. I didn't know you saw that episode. I didn't remember what episode or season it
He
was
said you ain't
in.
had no nipples. else. Like, he went. Crush should be going on people sometimes.
Yes, that is the cause. That is the root of the Jordy gets no bitches. That line right there. I didn't know that you had seen that already, so I was like, man, I thought it was down the line in some seasons that far away. But okay, yes, Joy LaForge does not get any bitches that aren't in a holodeck. Now, apparently, you dispute this.
Man, I'm gonna give the people receipts. Okay, so I'm gonna go on Netflix since bring it back to Netflix, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go and tell y'all what episode it is because I just watched it, to be honest, and I had known about like the rumors, so I was like, hold on, this episode, season 3, episode
Mm-hmm.
25, Transfigurations. Everybody go watch that. In the episode, Jordy LaForge, my guy, reading Rainbow, okay, gets a real woman, and he spends weeks with her. Weeks. So I'm like, how did the Star Trek fans just blip this out of their memory? Like, because me and JDubb were talking about this before. I was like, yo, it's interesting, like the type of relationships that happen. Because one, we're dealing with aliens and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody was getting some play. Crusher got some play. Even Wolf got some play. Picard, Captain Stay getting some play. Even the women, Counselor began some play.
Mm-hmm.
The Doctor began some play. Lieutenant, the Yar, whatever, she gets some play. Everybody was getting some play except for LaForge, right? And I'm like, dang, maybe he don't get no bitches. And
The love boat.
sure enough, I got my receipt. There's
No.
season 3, episode 25. He spends the whole episode chilling with this joint.
Okay. Okay. My rebuttal to that is one, he
Okay.
doesn't spend the whole episode chilling with the joint. You
I
never
know,
actually
but
you
he
never
is though.
see
He said weeks. He said
yeah,
weeks. The episode
yeah,
is
yeah.
done in like a day, but like it's spanned out within weeks. He's been with
Yeah.
this joint.
I got some
Like,
questions. I got some
what?
questions
What's the
about
questions?
your so-called receipts, because this ain't Amazon. We don't just take things back off of faulty receipts, because you got some faulty receipts, I believe.
Faulty receipt. Okay, continue.
So episode 3, I mean episode
Season.
25, season 3.
Uh-huh.
What is that episode about? Is that episode about Joy LaForge hooking up with some chick for weeks? Is that what that
No.
episode is about? So
Mm-mm.
if I read the synopsis, is that going to be in the synopsis of that episode?
No. It's about
Oh,
a deserted planet and a down ship lone survivor. Yeah.
a lone survivor.
It's about
See,
a
I'm
lone
reading it.
survivor.
Lone survivor. There's a
Mhm.
comma. That sentence finishes with who has no memory but possesses extraordinary healing powers.
Okay.
Hmm. Did So they encounter an alien with powers,
Yes. Okay.
extraordinary powers.
Okay.
Does does that have anything to do with Joy LaForge and his
I mean,
amazing
I don't know
weeks?
where you're getting at, so please elaborate.
Well, when we discussed this earlier,
Mm-hmm.
pre-production,
Mm-hmm.
I was almost convinced that I completely forgot about Joy LaForge getting a chick. And
Okay.
then, as you like were giving me the rough details, since you didn't want to go too in depth, things were recollected in my memory, and I had to ask, did the alien interact with Joy LaForge? And
Okay.
you
Yes.
said yes. And then that even brought me further. It was like, that alien had powers. Did that interaction give LaForge what I referred to as a glow up? And you said, what did you say, Mr. Paid in Full? You
I
got
don't
the
recall.
receipts.
I don't. I
Oh,
don't have the
okay. Well,
receipts.
you don't have the receipts to that, but luckily I have even though it's a weed adult brain, I do have somewhat of a
what?
memory. You
What did I
said that
say?
they interacted in Medbay where Jordy hooked himself up to some machine,
Yeah, it was on a
and
planet. It was on the planet. It was on the planet.
oh, it's on the
He,
planet.
yeah, because his dude's brain was exposed. Like
His
you could see the
brain was
wrinkles in his brain.
exposed.
And so they put something on the dude's head and put something on LaForge's head, and then there was like a orange spark that hit him, that hit LaForge.
And this was before he talked to the chick, right? This
Yeah.
wasn't after.
Yeah. No,
This
this was
was an
before.
This was before he spent that
I feel like I'm
weeks.
in court. Hold on, raise my hand real
Yeah.
quick.
So this was before he spent them weeks with the chick. So you want to
Mhm.
pretend like that spark that went from an alien who has extraordinary powers, exposed brain, that went into Joy LaForge's head, which was where his brain is at, didn't have anything to do with LaForge getting the chick. I mean, if that's what
I
you want to
hear what
ascertain.
I hear what you're saying, but that what does that have to do with the fact that you literally just said LaForge getting the chick? It doesn't matter how he got the chick. When
Yes,
does
it
it ever
does.
matter how?
It matters how Bill Cosby got his chicks, right? So it matters
Now,
how you get the
now,
chick.
now, you know damn well you done did it. You done. We don't mention that name on here.
Oh, yeah, I got a little messy with that one.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm gonna leave the Jordan Forge thing alone. But I do want to ask one question.
Okay.
Since you mentioned that you watch Star Wars, I have been
Star Trek.
Star Trek. Excuse me. I
Yeah.
said
I'm not
Star
a
Wars.
big fan, but I think you kind of fucked up just now.
I did, but
I
I'm
think some
about to
people will have
explain.
their head on a
I'm about to
spike.
explain. I'm about to explain. If you
Mm-hmm.
are familiar with this face, do you know that I am also have level 40 unlocked on YouTube? As if you go to SEPH_40 level 40 unlocked, you will see that I am not only playing the game Star Wars Battlefront 2,
Mm.
single player campaign. I'm also watching and reacting to Star Wars The Mandalorian. And right before shooting, I just edited episode 4 and uploaded it. Unfortunately, the upload is currently being blocked. But by the time this airs, by the
Giving
time
them
this
all your
airs,
business, huh?
by the
Yeah,
time
they
this airs,
blocked me, dog. Mm.
the dispute will be resolved, so you can check it out. But that is the only reason why Star Wars is on my mind during this discussion. So
Oh, okay.
please take
Okay.
that into consideration. But you see how intense
Wolf
and
gave me pain. Wolf
how
gave me
intense
pain.
this conversation is. I want to ask you because, like I
Mm.
said, I completely just lit up when I found out that you started watching Next Generation of all the Star Treks that you could watch. You started with my
Mm.
favorite one, to me the best one. Has there ever been any other show that
Mm-hmm.
you just jumped into and then
Mm-hmm.
mentioned to someone else that you know a part of, and then they immediately was able to just like go into that world with you, like just be happy to dive into that universal world? Like for me, I can say Game of Thrones is the only other show I can say that,
Okay.
when I mention
Yeah.
a Daenerys or a character from there, that like people are like, yeah, I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek, I was literally watching an episode of Lucifer, and one of the characters just started talking Klingon, and I knew what she was referencing because I understand a little Klingon.
That's
I
what
don't
she was
speak it.
talking.
Yes, did the medical examiner? Yeah,
Hold up.
she started.
Well, in Lucifer.
Yeah, the little goofy medical examiner.
Oh, the girl, the Spanish girl.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. She says
okay.
"Kapah," which is
See, now I want to go watch that episode now because like I'm just starting to watch Star Trek. So when that happened, I
so
didn't
you
know
just
anything
have that
about it.
reaction that I just had. So just so you knowing that chick knows Cleon gives
Mhm.
you a little like it's something I don't know how to describe it. But yes, that question
It's a
is posed to you.
community. It's like, yo, you're a part of my community, man. Like when you find out people, like I guess that's what happens because I've mentioned it to several people now because I'm just starting to get into Star Trek, and when I mention it, they like light up, and like oh, what part did you on or what you doing and stuff like that. So, I haven't watched Game of Thrones, but I've seen people's reactions when they start talking about it. So I would
Hmm.
give you that Game of Thrones is one, but Game of Thrones is like fairly new. Star Trek has been around for a while, and I'm surprised to get these reactions. Like I was in a conversation with a group of people, and I was just bringing up an example of what I saw on Star Trek compared to something that happened in real life, and they knew the whole episode. They was like, "Yeah, when dude did this and when that guy did that," and I'm like, "Oh, so I don't really have to explain nothing. Like y'all get it." It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. As you know, I definitely know how that goes. When you this was in pre-production, you were describing the
Mm-hmm.
episode that you want to speak on, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on. wait a minute, did this happen? This, yeah. And I haven't watched that episode. Like, I watched Star Trek Next Generation every night when it premiered. So
Mm-hmm.
I watched it. Then when it came onto Netflix, I was like, great. I got to I watched it all over again. And then when you said that you started watching it, I started watching. I watched most of the first, a lot of the second season. I think I watched the entire second season. I cherry
Mm-hmm.
picked episodes from season 3. I think I skipped a lot of episodes of season 5. So what's the name? I'm in season 6 now. I'm dreading. I'm dreading all good things, but it's gotta happen, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't know,
So
but y'all know.
yeah, let's move on from the Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was next on our docket?
So I don't know how we can transition this.
Well, I mean, we started out talking about music, and we started out talking
Yeah.
about our previous episodes. So we did an episode. Like I said, if people are watching this now, then they definitely could check out our previous
Mhm.
episodes. We did a previous episode. I believe it was our first episode, wasn't it? Yeah, it was our first
Yes.
episode where we were
Hmm.
discussing Saturday Night Live and Meg The Stallion's appearance on there, and Meg The Stallion's video that she did with
Hmm.
Young Thug. Damn it, I really should have remembered the name for that by now.
It's don't stop.
Don't stop. Yeah.
Yeah, don't
It's
stop.
okay song. Not that great video, in my opinion. I didn't think it really matched up with the lyrics or the movements. I thought it was beautiful to look at as far as the
Hmm.
set design and all that, but it wasn't. It didn't top. It didn't impress. It didn't. But Meg The Stallion now has a new video, Body.
You gotta say it right.
I don't. I'm
Yadi
going to
yadi
say
yadi
that
yadi.
I was just going to say the title and then what we. But it's body yaddy 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 yaddy
Yadi
yaddy.
yadi 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 yadi. Yeah,
Oh
for
my
sure.
goodness! Have you seen this video?
So it was funny because me and you were talking about it, and I was like, "Nah, I ain't seen the video, so let me see what he's talking about." From the thumbnail alone, I was like, "Oh, let me watch this video on my own time." I'm not gonna sit here and watch this video with you here, JDubb. So I watched it on my own time, and I'm glad I did. Um, that was that was that was a whole lot of thickness.
Yes, it
That
was. It
was
was
that was moving very fluid. Like,
especially for
I
a
don't,
woman who's been shot in the foot. Like,
huh?
more power to Meg. That's even more impressive that you was able to put your weight down on that foot. Because I just
What?
made the analogy of a broken leg being useless, and you had a shot foot, and you made it. You definitely, it was not useless. You made use of that foot. You put your weight down on it. You shook them hips. You had that body yaddy yaddy moving. But besides the fact that it was not only was it stimulating to watch, the
Okay.
lyrics were on point. I loved her flow. I loved her cadence, and even though this wasn't as colorful as the
Yeah.
Don't
The other
Stop
ones.
video, this was
Mhm.
basically just black leotards. I didn't dig the thing over her face. I thought that was a little too S&M for me. But
Yeah, that's
the
that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not big into. I like. Don't get me wrong, ladies. I like leather. I like lace.
You don't like to be handcuffed.
Exactly. I ain't into being beaten down. Like don't like. Nah, nah, nah. Although doggy
Okay.
style, but no. But anyway, either way,
Ah, there you go. Mhm.
the video was just her in black outfits with backup dancers in black outfits, all thick, all beautiful black women. That's another thing. Has she ever done a video with white women backup dancers?
I don't think so.
Gotta put a pin in that. Do some
Yeah,
research on
okay,
that.
I'm gonna.
But
Thanks for giving me another reason to look through her videos.
uh, I was dick, even though the dragon made no sense, the metal dragon in that made no sense, it was still
Hmm.
cool. I enjoyed the video. I enjoyed I enjoyed all aspects of it. Whereas in the Don't Stop video, there was aspects I had to pick out that I enjoyed to make the video not just completely awful for me. This one,
Yeah.
it was not no thing that I was like, I can't even think of something that I could pick out that I didn't like, besides the fact that I'm not a big fan of the S&M lace over the face. That was it.
Yeah. You want to see the whole face, huh?
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. She's
Mm.
got very seductive and sultry eyes and full lips. She has that petite Halle Berry nose though. But yeah, I'm I'm saying
Oh, did you have you ever told a woman you have sultry eyes in real life?
unfortunately, the one woman who broke my heart, I told that to. Yeah, I don't mention her name ever anymore,
Oh
but
damn!
she
Did I
knows
just take
who
this to a
she
dark
is.
place? My bad.
But no,
I didn't
it
know
was
that
the
was gonna be
thing.
triggering.
But yeah, there was a lot of twerking in this video, and there's been a lot of twerking. I think twerking is contagious because there's been some twerking going on all around.
Oh,
You want to
so
speak on it? Sound like
yes.
you got an idea what I'm speaking on.
So this brings us. This is full circle. This is back to the black dollar, right? So there's this guy who owns a restaurant, and apparently, which it seemed weird because the restaurant didn't seem like a place you would be doing this, but people were twerking at brunch, right? And I'm like,
Booty cheeks and breakfast.
booty cheeks and breakfast. And the dude came out and was like, hey, stop all that twerking. But he was a little disrespectful with it too. Because he was like, I don't need your money.
Hmm.
Like, you can leave. I wanted to build this restaurant. He gave us like a history of why he built the restaurant for some reason.
Well,
Like,
I think we're gonna put the video in here, so for the
okay,
audience,
okay,
yeah, y'all get a
okay,
reference of it.
so,
We're gonna put clip it in
okay.
post.
I invested a lot of money into buying this building, into developing this concept, so black people can have somewhere nice to go to, okay? Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves as a... Laquan, stop the music, please. Somewhere where our people can feel good about ourselves as a culture, okay? No, real talk. And so all this twerking and shit, take it to Prime, take it to Pink, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. And so beyond that, 75% of my customers are ladies. And I want men to show respect for themselves for how they carry themselves here. So how can I tell the men to respect themselves and you guys are twerking on glass here? If you want to do it, get the fuck out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. So don't do it now. Don't do it again. I don't want to hear it. If you don't like it, get out because I don't need your money. I need to provide something for my people. And don't do it again. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So y'all can hear just hear the tone and cadence and the body language too.
Yeah, because a
Because
lot is said that's not from your mouth.
right, and I was like, I understand that you want them to show them twerking, which cool. I mean, well, I like twerking, so I don't know. But I mean, maybe I can eat and watch some twerking at the same time. I don't as long as the booty's not on my actual breakfast. Cool, right? So I'm like, I think I can handle that, but he did not like it at all, and he went in and it went viral because of the way he said it. But I'm not against what he was saying. Like, yes, stop. If I don't want you twerking in my restaurant, I understand. Don't twerk in the damn restaurant.
I mean, it is his property. He
Right.
as he says, he spent a lot of money to build up this restaurant, and he wants a certain, like, I guess, reputation or atmosphere. Although you didn't help your cause at all, because now your reputation for your restaurant is now this viral video, so everybody's going to know you as the twerking true kitchen restaurant. Like that's what it is.
The
And
twerking police. You
yeah,
police and twerking.
the thing that I found amusing though, like I
Mhm.
completely agree with what you said that he has a right to say that he doesn't want this in his place, but how he said it, and there's something else.
Mhm.
This is going to sound a little coonish, but you can't say that you don't want twerking and you got a DJ named Daquan. Why you got a DJ period in your restaurant? But then
Hold
for
up.
the
I didn't know this information. He has a DJ named Daquan.
He tells Daquan on the video that
Huh?
we're going to post. He says,
Huh?
Daquan, turn the music off. Daquan. He says the Daquan's name twice, and I'm like, like I say, I love my people, but Daquan just sounds like a name that you hear in a place where twerking is happening.
For
Like,
sure. For sure. I'm going where Daquan's at. Like, Daquan's playing tonight? Man, I'm there. Y'all probably put some respect on his name. Like, come on,
and
man. Y'all know when Daquan comes through, it's gonna be some twerking. Y'all know that. Come on, man.
I could actually picture that too. He just walks in the building, trumpets blare, and big booties just start twerking.
Just come with him. He bring the twerkers. Like, I need one
But yeah,
stationed over there. I need one stationed over there by the bacon. I need some say something about the eggs.
I swear, bacon and booty kind of. I mean, bacon next to the
Bacon
biscuits.
and booty.
Bacon and booty biscuits.
Booty
That's
biscuits.
That's trademark. Y'all can't take that as a name for your restaurant. I could
Because I
see
mean,
some
Hooters,
strip club in
Hooters,
Atlanta doing that for their breakfast. What's the
because
name?
Hooters has his own version, right?
Exactly.
Hooters
Hooters.
wings and
Hooters
stuff.
is a double
So yeah,
entendre.
a
Don't
booty
let
and
them.
biscuits.
Yeah, don't let them forget
Booty and
fool you.
biscuits. Yeah.
But yeah, so if you got a DJ named Daquan, and it seems like you're setting an atmosphere that inspires twerking, you really can't complain about twerking happening. Like, I understand that you want, like, if you want no dancing to happen, don't play dance music is all I can say. Like, that's one of my issues. And the other issue is you don't talk to grown folks like that. Like, the
Yeah.
moment he used profane language and told them to get the F out or whatnot, like, and I'm saying get the F out like I'm a child. Get the fuck out. Like,
Because even you don't talk to people like that.
yeah, exactly. So there's ways to be professional and still be strict and stern. Like,
right.
we all know this possible. So for the way that he came out, like, yeah, talking about, yeah, respect and all this, and respect yourselves, like, bruh, nah, you're not respecting the people, even though they did disrespect your establishment. You're not showing them any respect for them to reciprocate. So you make your statement, you make it sturdy and powerful, but you don't disrespect those people who are paying their money, and then you treat them, you talk to them like they're your children. I just couldn't get behind that.
Yeah, I agree with that, and we can wrap up off that like note to one, stop the violence.
Yes,
Two,
absolutely.
saying be respectful even if it's like a situation where you think you've been disrespected, especially at that level, because it wasn't like the twerkers were like using profanity towards him or something like that, or like saying your cooking in your restaurant is trash. They were dancing and having they were I feel like they were doing what you kind of want them to do. Like, you wanted them to be having a good time. So they were having, like, the Daquan was lit apparently. The Daquan had it popping in there. Y'all was eating and popping and having a good time, and then you came in and yes, you said what you said, but saying you gotta do better. So yeah, like, just be respectful when you're talking to people, man, because you never know, some furniture could start getting moved. Um
Mm-hmm. And then
those
you
are my
got a serious issue.
and my other last message for, and then I'll let you get your messages off to the people. So stop the violence, have some respect when you talk to people, and put some respect on LaForge's name, man. He get bitches. All right, I'm out. I'm out.
All right, you know what? I don't even know how to follow that up. Like, cause LaForge, I put respect on LaForge's name. LaForge has done quite a lot. Like, the Enterprise would not even exist if not for him. He was a black engineer, like in the '90s with black television and whatnot. Guinan and LaForge
Powerful.
and Worf were the few black people that were on that show and on TV. And later on, that show even got even more diverse. You started seeing more people of color. But remember, this show is not 2000, it's not 2010, not 2020. This was still during the time when we weren't really on the screen like that. And we've seen, like I said, coming full circle, we see how Netflix is using that to their advantage, and we see how powerful the black dollar is and how powerful representation is, like in the movies, in music, and just in life. Like, we need to be
Wow.
in positions in other things. We need representation in management of businesses and ownership of things, like Jeezy was saying, like, own some shit, like Nipsey Hussle was saying before he was taken away from. It's like
R.I.P.
Jay-Z has been saying. It's been all this thing about, and what Dave Chappelle is trying to let you know. You got to start owning it, because if he owned the Chappelle show, he would be getting paid, and this whole thing about Netflix and HBO Max wouldn't even matter. So those are the messages, as
Powerful.
yeah, MVP said, respect, but yeah, also get your ownership too. Get watch, look, and recognize your own worth and your own value, black man, black woman, black people, because we raising
I like
black
that.
kids. I don't have any yet, but I'm planning on
I like that.
it.
That's a powerful message, man.
So with that being said, I want to thank everybody. Well, we both want to thank everybody for joining us again for another episode of the MAGA podcast. That's music, anime, game, and analyst. We kind of analyze the whole range of things from music to entertainment to the state of Black culture and Black money. So you got an earful today. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to get that. Don't forget to hit that like.
Don't forget remix.
Yeah, don't forget to hit that like, that subscribe button, get those notifications. And if you agree or disagree or just want to, shout us out, type in those comments. We read them. So,
Yeah.
peace.